Now, given that The Mandalorian Season 3 is about to launch on Disney Plus on March 1st of next year, we also have, of course, Disney CEO Bob Iger getting ready to promote a lot of other Star Wars shows at Celebration next year. That's going to be a very big deal. However, everything lies within what, of course, the Disney creatives, or the Disney higher-ups, I should say, are really telling Jon and Dave exactly what kind of avenue to take to really fulfill the franchise and to really kind of make the fans satisfied, the ones specifically that have supported the franchise for decades. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you also very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one thing about, of course, The Mandalorian as a series, we already know that both Season 3 and 4 are being worked on at the same exact time, back to back. They're going to begin filming 4 as soon as March or April of next year, as the script is getting closer to its completion. Now, Favreau's been a lot more talkative most recently. He's been very much direct lately with the fans, kind of giving fans a lot of teases and hints about what to expect in Mando Season 3, and of course the Ahsoka series by Dave Filoni, and just everything that's coming in between, right? Now, the thing about this, too, that I think a lot of fans need to take attention to is the fact that Favreau most recently actually teased something huge for his plans for the very end of The Mandalorian as a whole, like the entirety of the series. He actually did tease a couple of things about his endgame on ending the actual show through and through. So we're talking about the end of the show in general, not the end of Season 3, not the end of course, that at all, but the entire show itself. So with that being said and all, however, with both Favreau and Filoni getting ready to make some major announcements for Star Wars at next year's Celebration event, they are also working on delivering key revelations, of course, to the Star Wars community with their upcoming shows. Now, when Favreau was questioned about his plans for ending The Mandalorian as a series, he went on to state the following to the fandom. Well, it's always been in my interest to stop the show at a Season 4. That was my plan in the beginning, and we are getting ready to explore some great things for the fans to see. Things like, of course, what kind of love interest did Luke Skywalker run into during his lifetime, or the secret backstory for Din Djarin that we are slowly developing. We also took some powerful pieces from the Thrawn trilogy from over 20 years ago, and implemented this into Season 4 also for the fans. But I will say, if Season 4 proves to be a wild success, we do plan on extending the series only to a Season 6. We never really wanted to overdo it, you know? It's how I feel about other franchises out there, specifically shows. Now, let me just stop here for a second. Now, Favreau has expressed his critique on some shows out there before in the past. He's talked about how The Walking Dead is way too elongated, or other shows out there that are way too stretched out. In his point of view, that's just his opinion. He doesn't want to do that with The Mandalorian. What he does want to do is that he wants to end the show and use that as a foundation to kind of evolve it into something else. Which, by the way, that's what Mandalore is going to be. We talked about this, that Star Wars Mandalore is basically the Bo-Katan series that's going to feature 2 different timelines in that series. So that's basically going to be the evolution of The Mandalorian as a show. Now here, what Jon Favreau was able to tease specifically was, of course, that they are planning on tapping into the love interests of Luke. Now, we already know that Mara Jade has been in the works for several months now. In fact, Jon Favreau actually got Karen Gillan to portray the role. He got her to sign on board for, of course, the Mandoverse as a whole, and to get her involved in Mando 4. So there will be some kind of big-time cameo or a couple of appearances of Mara Jade in there. And when he says love interest, there's no doubt about it that that is exactly what he's alluding to from the leaks that we've been talking about. The other thing that really does surprise me is that he goes on to state that there is a secret backstory to Din Djarin. Now, this is something apparently that he's been working on, like he said, for a very long time, and slowly so, and how it's really going to change or warp our vision of The Mandalorian as a series and who Din really is. The same exact thing applies to Grogu. We talked about this, of how that character also is going to have multiple revelations, not just in 3, but also in Season 4. So there's a lot of great things coming out of this, and Favreau keeps on delivering. He keeps on making sure that fans are going to be very excited for each and every season up and coming. You know, I mean, even Carl Weathers said that this new season, the 3rd one, is going to have a ton of surprises, just like in Season 2. So, moving to the next thing. Alright. He goes on to say, we have an endgame set for Luke's journey in the show and how he evolves to the next one that we have planned. Our plan is to keep Mando 4 open-ended until we see the final ratings come in, when we decide if we want to extend our backup story for a Season 5 and/or 6 if need be. The end of The Mandalorian and how the story concludes is already final in my mind, and it's going to be mind-blowing to the audience. A lot of it is going to be centered on Luke, Grogu, and Din Djarin and their journeys in this large world. And we wanted to pay respect to the Legends fans, too, on how this will all play out in the future. So, I want to go on to the next big thing here, because this is absolutely important to the fans, is that when you look at something like this, right? When you look at a show like The Mandalorian, Jon Favreau stated this many times, multiple times already, that this show is all about paying respect to George, making sure that it's going to keep a lot of the inspiration from his philosophy and keeping his visions intact, and that's exactly what he's doing with The Mandalorian Season 3, and especially now, Season 4, by the way. Now, Season 4, he openly stated that it may very well be the final season, unless it proves to be extremely successful. I mean, like, monumental ratings. That's what he's looking for. Then he'll boost up with the Season 5 and 6, to which he has a little backup story plan. But so far, Season 4 is the planned ending to it all, and it has a lot of those big surprises related to Din, Luke, Grogu, you name it. And a lot of it is going to also involve Legends characters coming into the equation. Honestly, I think that The Mandalorian raises a new bar for Star Wars, because now it's not just about The Mandalorian itself, like Din Djarin, it's also an avenue or a conduit to drag in all these fan-favorite characters, right? And to kind of just bring things to a new level. It kind of reminds you a little bit of the Avengers, right? You can almost think of it like the Avengers, where, you know, it really brings all those characters together into one. And that's what they want to do eventually, big time-wise, with Star Wars Mandalore, which, by the way, is the upcoming show that they want to drop on Disney Plus by 2025. Basically, that's going to be the Avengers of the Star Wars franchise, quote-unquote, so to speak. So, anyways, with that being said, you could tell that Favreau is a very ambitious guy. He's got a lot of goals and plans ahead of him, and I respect people like that. And he's going places. He's going to really succeed in this. I really do believe that. So, anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you guys have to say about all this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Night to moon, we hear them moans again.